about 2001, I had been diagnosed with cancer for the second time. And then I'd gotten better, and that's when I decided to leave A Touch of Jazz and just said, you know, I don't know what God's plan is for me, but I didn't think it was to be there as an administrator, and so I left. Born right here in Philadelphia, but I was raised outside of the city in Edgewater Park, New Jersey, a very small town. I did a talent show in 7th grade, March 22nd, 1986. And that's a very specific answer. I've been singing around the house since I was a kid, but I don't think anyone took me seriously. I'm just sure I did not take myself seriously. No, I was 12, so I didn't know anything about the business. Nothing about royalties, anything like that. I just loved that I went out to sing, which I love to do anyway. And that all these people stood and cheered, and it just amazed me that I could do that. Now, granted, it was an auditorium full of students and faculty and parents, but I made everyone stand up, and that was the moment that changed my life and put me on this quest that I'm still on. I did sing in church during high school. I went to church my entire life, but I did sing in church in high school. It started in the summer of 19XXX when I was 16 years old. It was actually sneaking into clubs in Martha's Vineyard, not to drink but to sing. They had, it was called David's Island House. It's closed, but at the time there was this incredible piano player, and I would sneak in and he let me sing, and he never knew how old I was. And I think it was probably because Gentleman was blind and he couldn't see, but he let me sing, and so that was my first paying gig. My favorites is Sade, but my influences is Barbra Streisand and also Dionne Warwick from my mother's side. And my dad was a big jazz fan, blues fan, and so if there's a mix of Ella Fitzgerald and Barbra Streisand, those are my influences. My mother is still living, so she gets to hear me still. My father, although he passed a few years ago, he did indeed get to hear me sing professionally. In fact, I sang the national anthem at Madison Square Garden for a boxing doubleheader, and I took my dad because he was a huge boxing fan, so that was one of the highlights of my career. I started working at a studio in Philadelphia, huge production company, A Touch of Jazz, who produced the likes of Jill Scott, Music Soul Child, and Will Smith, a whole host of other artists. And I was there initially as a singer, in fact, just like backgrounds. But then I started on the administrative side, hoping the entire time that it would help my music career, although it did teach me the business of music. And so although that was my day job and I was there 9 to 5, I was still singing in the evenings, on the weekends, trying to marry the two. But while I was in the office, I was an administrator and I wasn't pushing myself as a singer. But I learned the business of music and I made a lot of contacts. I was diagnosed the first time in 1989 with Hodgkin's disease, and I successfully went through surgery and chemotherapy and radiation. And then I was cancer-free until 2000. And I had a recurrence of the same type of cancer and then successfully underwent chemotherapy. And then I was cancer-free for 9 years, and I was diagnosed last August, and successfully had chemotherapy and a stem cell transplant, so 3 times. Well, they both sort of happened at the same time. When I started singing professionally at 16, I was diagnosed only a few months later in the fall of 1989. So it seems that cancer and music have been in my life for very many years. During the treatments, even as far back as 1989, I would physically be getting the medicine and just think that this is just part of the plan and that I'm going to get through it, and I would always say that's just going to be another story to tell Oprah. And I'm happy to say it's just another story to tell Deanna. But every bout and every course of treatment just allowed me to write songs, to just be very positive, because I thought that there was a reason I was going through it, and that if God was going to have me go through it and then be finished, that I could, you know, be of encouragement to other people through my music. I think that my style is very smooth, sophisticated. I think that's classy. It's very relaxing. I often tell people that, you know, if you do imbibe of the vino, that a nice glass of wine and my CD will go very well together. Being compared to Sade, even in the same breath, is amazing to me, because I've loved her since her first record, as millions have. But it's that smooth, soulful music, but then certainly lyrically, she's got so much to say. And so if there's any comparison, I'm extremely grateful, because I am a lyricist, so I want to make sure that my feelings come through in my music. My debut CD, it's called Love Again, and it was a labor of love with my producer, Paolo Pellegrini, who played mostly every instrument on the record. We wrote the songs together with help from my nephew, Jessy Kyle, who's a budding and up-and-coming producer himself. We did this record over a course of a few years, and it was just him giving me tracks or playing something on the piano and getting a feel, and us just sitting down and writing it. And likewise, and I would sit down and write something, give it to him, and then he would hop on the keyboard or hop on the guitar, and it would become a song within minutes, which was very exciting for me.